G'day YouTube, it's DrunkMonk74 here, and I'm just bringing you a quick bit of commentary, and it's not about a particular game mode or anything like that, or guns or anything like that. This one is all about Medal of Honor Warfire versus BF3 and their playstyle. I'm not going to be commentating on what I think is a better game or anything like that, so that's not what this commentary is about. This is all about the different playstyle required. And before I go any further, first things first, I just want to put a big shout out there to Turtle Mayor. He's one of my clan members on Atlas 8, and he was the one who put me onto this idea. No idea why I hadn't thought of it myself before, but I hadn't, and the guy just said to me, you know what, why don't you do a commentary on the different playstyles required for BF3 and Medal of Honor Warfire. And so, Turtle, thank you very much, mate, much appreciated. Any ideas like that are great, so if you've got any ideas or any videos you'd like me to do, then just let me know. Yeah, this is all about the playstyle, and in particular the differences in playstyle between Battlefield 3 and Medal of Honor. And the reason, I guess the reason I'm using Battlefield 3 is because, you know, people have naturally been making comparisons between the two games, because, you know, it's published by EA, who also publish Battlefield. It's built on the same engine as Battlefield 3, the Frostbite 2 engine. So people have naturally been making some comparisons, and you know, some people have been fairly fair about it, and others have been not so fair about it. And I'm not just talking about the, you know, your everyday gamers. I'm talking about some of these so-called professional reviewers. You know, there's been a lot of hate when this game came out. There was a lot of hate for Warfire, and I think a lot of it was down to the fact that these so-called professional reviewers put out reviews there and slated this game. They slated things like lack of destructibility, the smaller maps. You know, they really slated things like that. And yet, when a game like Black Ops 2 comes out, they either totally ignore and don't mention those same faults in that game, or they, worse still, even praise the game for some of the things they slated Warfighter for. So, in my opinion, that's not very professional. That's not very fair, even. So, I just wanted to put out my own particular video and my own particular thoughts on the game, and hopefully a bit more of a balanced review. And the other thing I just want to put out there as well, before I go any further, is I'm not a fanboy of either series or either game rather, and I'm not a hater of either game. You know, I've put in over 500 hours on Battlefield 3, and I'm now putting in quite a few hours on Warfire. I will openly admit, I think Warfire is a great game. It's a great game, in my opinion. You know, and it's a great game in in so many ways. But I'm not going to cover that today. I'm going to try and stay on topic, which I don't always tend to do in my videos. I tend to get like distracted a bit and start talking about random stuff. So I'm going to try and not do that this time. So, what I'm going to start this review off by saying that you know, apart from the professional reviewers whose reviews were, in my opinion, unfair, there have been plenty of players out there as well who have hated on this game, who do not like it, and this is, and I think it's because they're struggling with this game. I mean, when I got this game, it came out on a Friday in the UK. When I got this game, I spent 3 days with it, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, with this game, and I'm not joking. Probably for a day and a half to 2 days, I hated this game. I honestly wanted to just snap the disc, and the reason I was so frustrated was because I was just constantly dying, and I could not work out why. I could not work out what the hell I was doing that was so wrong. It was only after playing this game solidly for a couple of days that I kind of got to grips with it, and I kind of realised what I was doing wrong. And I'm hoping to cover some of those things, because I think why I was struggling anyway was because of the playstyle. I just brought my BF3 playstyle and I dumped it on top of Medal of Honor, and I expected to do really well. Unfortunately, you can't, because Medal of Honor Warfire, it's not a clone of another game. It's not a hybrid of another game. You know, I think players out there, probably some of them have been hating on this game because they expected it to play like something else, or they expected it to be a combination of a couple of games, and it's not. It's a totally unique. It's a totally different game from anything that's out there. It's got its own playstyle. Until you get that through your head, until you get to grips with that, you're more than likely going to be getting owned on this game constantly. So, what do I think are the differences in the playstyles in Medal of Honor and BF3? So, the first and to me the biggest difference is the pace. Now, when the action kicks off, it's fairly fast in Medal of Honor. You know, in Warfire, it's fast when the action kicks off, but up until that point, it's not so fast. You know, and Battlefield 3 is much faster gameplay. You know, when you're moving around those maps, especially as infantry, it is much faster paced. And one of the reasons for Battlefield 3 is BF3 is designed with vehicles in mind, so the maps are much larger. So if you're infantry, you've got a lot of open spaces you've got to cover, so you do naturally have to run. So yeah, that's a given. But there are some mechanics that have been changed in BF3 that have made it faster as well. So things like hip fire accuracy, vastly improved from the last title in the series, Bad Company 2. It's got higher sensitivity. So, like, what I mean by that is in BF3, you run around a corner, you'll be able, if you push your sensitivity and get used to playing that way, you'll be able to spin around very, very quickly. And 3, it's got much quicker aiming down sights, much quicker. Now you compare, you combine those three things. So you combine the ability to sprint around a corner and spin round, and then you combine it with being able to hip fire really accurately, as well as scope up really quickly. You know, you've got a much faster gameplay style. You know, people will be sprinting around corners, they will be charging into rooms, they'll be spraying from their hip, they'll be scoping up real quick. All of those things have really added up to the faster playstyle. You know, and it's been accentuated by map hacks like Close Quarters. Close Quarters is ruled by SMGs, running and gunning, and hip firing. You know, if you've got a different playstyle on those Close Quarters maps, you will generally get owned. Medal of Honor, much slower gameplay, You know, if you wanna be successful in this game, one of the first things you need to realise is you need to slow right down. And how to do that? So, for me anyway, it means checking your corners. And when I say check your corners, I mean if you're gonna pop round a corner, you should be aiming down your sights already. You should be looking around that corner, aiming down sights. There's a peak and lean. The peak and lean is there for a reason. It's there to help you. So you get to a corner, you can peek and lean around that corner and quickly pop back into cover if you think you're going to get hammered. The other thing, cover. You know, it's there for a reason. People need to get to grips with the fact that this is a cover-based shooter. You know, if you charge out into the middle of a map, or into the middle of a hallway or an alleyway, or you charge into a room, there's enemies there. You're more than likely going to get hammered. You know, unless that player or those players are fairly woeful, you will get hammered. And that sort of leads me on to the next point. Is because this game is built on the Frostbite 2 engine. There's a lot of people out there who have been saying, where's the destructibility? Look at all the things you can destroy in Battlefield 3. Why can't you have that in Warfire? It's fairly simple. It's because it's a cover-based shooter. So if all your cover was getting absolutely destroyed by mortar strikes, by grenades, by grenade launchers, by machine gun fire, you know, it's gonna change the game totally. And the idea of this game is that it's supposed to be played tactically. You're supposed to be using the cover that's there in the game when you're engaging the enemy. You know, they don't want you charging out into. They don't want you charging into a room or charging into the middle of the map, or you know, sprinting around a corner. And they just don't want that. That's not how the game was designed to play. It's not what this game is designed to do. It's supposed to be, I'm not going to use the word realistic, but it's supposed to be an authentic experience. And that means, check your corners a bit more than you would in other first-person shooters. Stick with your fighting buddy, and that's one of the things you really need to realise that's been changed in this game. People are saying the fighting. What's so special about fighting buddy? There's nothing special about it. It's been, look at Battlefield 3. You got squads in there. You can four of you running around as buddy. Well, it's different because on Battlefield 3, if you need ammo or you need health, how do you get it? One, your squad mates will be throwing down packs. 2, your teammates will be throwing down packs. 3, the enemy will be throwing down packs. So there's a lot of ways. If you're playing in a match where people are throwing down packs, there's a lot of ways for you to be healed, to be and to be resupplied. In Warfighter, there's only really there are 2 ways to get health and ammo, but there's only really one way. And the reason I say that is one of the ways you can get it is if someone on your team is playing as heavy gunner, then you will be able to run up to them and you'll be able to get health and ammo off them. The problem is not many people play heavy gunner. One, it's a very slow class, so you don't move around the maps too quick. It's extremely slow. Even for Warfighter, it's very slow. And 2, the gun mechanics are designed to. It's designed for you to get your gun, find a choke point, put your bipod out, and mow down the enemy as they come through that choke point. That's the idea of the heavy gunner. That's how that class is designed to be played. It's not designed for you to be running around a map or walking around or hip firing or trying to fire on the move. Your accuracy goes to pot. You won't hit anything, and there's no suppression in this game. So don't worry about this. You're not going to be doing any favours to your team. So a lot of people don't use that class because it's not really there. And when they do, if you're relying on that class for health or ammo, you're going to have to go out and find that person. Who knows where they're going to be? You might have to run around half the map to find that person. So it's not really a viable option. The only real way for you to get ammo and health consistently and when you need it is if you play with your fireteam buddy, if you stick with your fireteam buddy, if you guys move around a map together, you work, you check those corners together, you keep each other's flanks covered. That's the way you're going to be successful, and that's what makes the fireteam mechanics so special. Because in this game, even though the maps are small, there's a lot of ways to manoeuvre, a lot of flanking routes on most of the maps. There are a couple which are a little bit linear. Novi Grand, whatever, which one? I can't pronounce it, I can't remember it, but there's one in particular that's very linear. There's about 3 or 4 lanes that you go up or you come down, and that's about it. But the rest of the maps, so much movement, so much flanking, loads of ways to get around the enemy, and so you need your buddy with you. You need him there to help cover those areas because you're not going to be able to cover them all by yourself. So that's what makes the fireteam buddy so special. And if you put all of that together, if you put all of that playstyle together, and you change your mindset from Battlefield 3 a little bit, you slow your gameplay down a bit, you start checking your corners a bit. There are fast classes in Warfighter if you want it. There's Spec Ops or Point Man. They allow you to move around so quick, but they've really balanced it up by giving those classes some of the weakest weapons. So those classes are designed, yes, to move quickly, but to flank. They come face to face with someone at mid to long range, and they're going to be at a disadvantage. So they're really designed to move quick, to flank, and to get up close and personal. But generally, if you slow your game, even with those classes though, you still need to check your corners and move a little bit slower around those maps. When you come to your objective, don't just charge in. If you come into your objective, say you're going to set a bomb, make sure it's all clear around you. Have a quick look around and check it out, because that's one of the other things about this game. How there is a definite advantage to being defensive as well. So, for example, what I mean is in Battlefield 3, you play sector control. Once you've capped one flag, what do most people generally tend to do? They will move to the next flag. And generally, if you've got two fairly evenly balanced teams, you know, flags will be changing hands throughout the match. You know, it's constant movement, always go for the next one, always move, always go to the next one. Warfire, very different mentality. You know, on sector control 1, you've only got 3 flags. 2, you need to defend flags as well. If you don't defend your flags, that means one of the opposition team could potentially get 2 out of 3. You could be in a world of trouble. So defending your flags or sectors, sorry, is just as important as attacking them. So in Warfire, they really want you to also learn to play defensively. So they want you to play the objective, but they want you to defend that objective as well. So it's another reason that you can't just go charging into objective, because there will be people defending it, you know, and they're not going to be standing there in the middle of the map with a white flag above their head saying, hang on one second, you know, alright, wait for me to get to a safe place. They're going to be in cover. They're going to be what people might think is camping, but they're not. They're just defending their objective. And whether you like it or not, it's something that's been put into the game, and they want you to play that way. And to be fair, it adds to the tactical side of the game. If you got a team who are playing well and defending their objective well, you then got to work out, all right, how do we get around them? How do we stop them? You know, how do we get to that objective and take it from them? You know, they're holed up, they're dug in nice and deep. All right, we've now got to play tactically and get them out of there. It's great. It adds something to this genre that so many other games don't have, because a lot of other games it's all about tack. You know, get kills. You know, move around that map, get the next one. Anyway, that's my thoughts on Warfire, on Battlefield 3, and the playstyles. You know, so let me know what your thoughts are, how you play it, how you approach them. Do you like Warfire? Do you not? Do you play Battlefield 3? What do you think about the differences in the playstyle? Do you think there are differences, or do you just play the same way and you still find it just as easy? Yeah, be good to hear from people. Anyway, that's me done for now. I'm out of here. I'll catch you next time. Cheers.